Hello everyone, my name is EVOO and welcome to Cooking with the Koyas. Today I'm going to show you how I make my tomato bruschetta. And I must say, the best tomatoes to use for tomato bruschetta are Polish linguisa or Oxheart. Barring those which are hard to find, Roma's or San Marzano. Barring that, use what you have from the garden. And that's what I'm going to do today. I have just a variety of tomatoes here from the garden. I also have, you're going to need one small onion. I have one small onion also from the garden that I picked earlier. I'm going to also use one red pepper. I know a lot of people don't do that, but I do. I've got some basil, some garlic. So, quite simply, we need to remove the green stem from the tomato. You don't want to eat that part. Okay, that comes out. And then quite simply, now some people remove the seeds from the tomato and use just the meaty part. I use the whole tomato. So basically what you want to do is dice the tomato into about, a 1/4 inch kind of pieces. And I use, like I say, the entire tomato. So I just like to chop it, cut it, and then I'll cut it again. Basically, like I say, it doesn't have to be exact. There we go. Roughly about 1/4 inch each piece. And then you take your chopped tomato, into a bowl it goes. Okay, so I'm going to continue doing that now with all these tomatoes. And like I said, I have a variety of different tomatoes that I'm using today. And that's perfectly fine. In fact, that'll make for a different flavor with my bruschetta. Okay, first tomato done. Here's a nice tomato. Beautiful, beautiful garden tomato right there. Remove the stem. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to chop it up into like 1/4 inch thick pieces. And yes, I am sitting down on the job today. Why not be comfortable when you're in the kitchen, right? It doesn't have to be work. Kitchen isn't work. Being in the kitchen is supposed to be fun, right? And rewarding. And it's going to be both of those today with this tomato bruschetta. Okay. In that goes. All right, so I'm going to continue chopping these up until all those are done. And speaking of all those, for this particular recipe, I'm using 1.5 pounds of tomatoes, but you could use anywhere from 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds. It doesn't have to be exact for tomato bruschetta. Anywhere in that neighborhood and you're good to go. Okay, so now that we've finished chopping up our tomatoes, we are going to do the same thing with the onion. So for the onion, you can, this one's got a little mark on it. That's all right, we'll just remove that. Okay, for the onion, you could use a red onion or a sweet onion. Those are the two preferred. If you don't have those, just use a regular cooking onion. And just one small onion, the size of an oversized egg, I guess. That's all you need. And same thing here, you want to slice and dice. Same sort of thing. If you like bigger onion pieces, you can keep the dicing a little bit larger, or otherwise, make them nice and small. That's how I like them. I like them a little bit on the smaller side. So once they're chopped up, I'll chop them up a little bit more. And we're going to add that. And it looks like I might have to change bowls. This bowl looks like it is just a bit too small. We need to cut up our pepper. I like to use one small red pepper, or you could use a yellow pepper. You want it to be a sweet pepper for sure. And if it's a really, really big bell pepper, then I would suggest using just a half, because you don't want to overpower it with pepper, but you definitely want that pepper flavor. And I'm going to chop these up as well into small little 1/4 inch pieces. So same thing, just about a quarter inch thick. We're just going to cube these up. Now, I should have mentioned that I am using sweet peppers, of course. A sweet bell pepper, you could use shepherd peppers are good. You could use yellow bell peppers. You could even use yellow banana peppers. So as long as they're sweet, you want to use a sweet pepper. And this is one of the things that makes my tomato bruschetta different than other people's, and it's the pepper. And I want to mention the pepper is one of the keys to making a unique and delicious tomato bruschetta. It really does make a difference. It enhances the flavor of your bruschetta very, very nicely. So here I have some beautiful basil that I picked from my spice garden. I've got 7 large leaves here. So I'm going to use 7 large leaves. And again, you could use 7 to 8 leaves of basil for 1 to 2 pounds of tomato bruschetta. Now, if you really like basil, you could use a little more. Or if you don't like it, you could use a little less. But what I found is that 7 to 8 leaves is perfect for 1.5 to 2 pounds of tomato bruschetta. All right, there we go. Let's get that added in. This not only adds amazing flavor, but it also adds some real nice color. Okay, so now we cannot forget the garlic. So again, for 1.5 to 2 pounds of tomato bruschetta, you're gonna wanna use 1 to 2 garlic cloves. I used 1.5, so I went in between. I've got 1.5 cloves of garlic that I just minced. And now all you have to do is mix all those ingredients together. Okay, and now for the key ingredient, as you know, my favorite, extra virgin olive oil. And you know what I say, don't be shy. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's an honest 7, and I probably spilt a little bit in between. I've got about 8, and that's what I wanted. 8 tablespoons of olive oil. Looky there. And all we're gonna do now is mix this all together. So basically at this point, you just wanna make sure you mix all the ingredients together so that nothing is clumped. You don't want a big clump of garlic or a big clump of onion. You just want to make sure that all the ingredients are incorporated and spread out very, very nicely. So we are just going to mix that together. Now, if you notice that there's not enough olive oil, you could always add a little bit more. Now what I like to do is put this back into that smaller container because it's a nicer serving bowl. I'm gonna put the bruschetta back in there, see if I can get it all to fit. You know what? I think it's going to be okay. It's gonna all fit in there. There we go. Oh, isn't that nice? That's beautiful. And it smells really nice too. It's got a nice aroma to it. Okay. Put a little basil leaf in there for presentation. Looky there. Isn't that really nice? That is nice. Okay, so now I've got a baguette here. You don't have to use a baguette. You can use, if you just have regular sliced bread, you could use regular sliced bread. But I like to use a baguette and then cut them on an angle. And when you do so, keep them about a 1/2 inch thick. You don't want them too thick, nor do you want them too thin. So 1/2 inch thick is absolutely perfect, because what we're gonna do now with these is we're gonna toast these bagels, and I'm gonna put them in the toaster oven. If you don't have a toaster oven, you can put them in an oven, just set it to 400 degrees, put these in on a cookie sheet, and 3-4 minutes per side. Basically all you want here is you want your bread to be slightly golden, just a little crispy. That's it. Having said that, worst comes to worst, just eat the fresh bread as is, put your bruschetta on there. You're good to go either way. I just like it toasted. Let me put these in the oven and get some toasted up right now. Oh boy, now for the best part. The bread is toasted up really, really nicely. You could see there's a little bit of golden brown on there. They're gonna be crispy and absolutely perfect. Now, with the bread, if you really like garlic, you could take a clove of garlic and just rub a clove of garlic on your bread. What I prefer to do, you probably guessed already, I have a little bit of extra virgin olive oil here. I like to put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil on my toasted bread, just like that. Okay, now take some of this beautiful bruschetta mixture, place it on top, and the flavors on this are gonna be just spectacular. I'm looking forward to digging in. Look at that, that is absolutely beautiful. In fact, I'm gonna put a couple more on and we are gonna snap a photo of this because it looks too good. Oh yeah, now you're talking.